Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Excuse me, that just came out of nowhere. I want to start this video off by sincerely apologizing for my absence. I hate doing that. And I didn't do it intentionally. It was one thing on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, and it just kept coming, and I'm like, ugh. So, unfortunately, YouTube got pushed to the back, I'll say, just a little bit. But anyway, so get yourself something to drink, or munch on, or crochet, and just because I got a feeling this is going to be a pretty long video, because I have a crap ton of stuff to tell you guys that has been going on. So get comfortable. I got my coffee. I got my little notepad with all my, I just basically wrote down everything so I don't forget to tell you what I want to say. To start off, my health. I feel like with the comments in the last video where I mentioned or I said what was happening when I said I quit smoking, have migraines, blah, blah, I feel like some of you guys thought that was like a recent thing. It's not. I quit smoking 4 years ago. And the issues that have come with quitting, Churchy, you just completely shook the whole camera, has spanned that long. So, yeah. Basically, to sum it up real quick, okay? 4 years ago, I quit smoking cold turkey. I did not plan it, and I know some of you guys have heard this a few times, but I feel like I have to say it or explain it so everybody understands. But quit smoking cold turkey, and I didn't plan it. I was just like, I think I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And I smoked for like 19 years, and I was it was 2 packs a day pretty much. And just one day I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of this. So I quit on one day, and then later on that day, I asked my husband still smoked. He quit that same year in March, but I asked him later that day, I was like, honey, can I please just have one cigarette? So he gave me a cigarette, and then after that, I never had another one. So, I mean, yay for me for that, but it threw my body in shock. Like, everything went nuts. I was having a migraine every day. I was having my gums would just, I'm not talking like, kind of bleed a little bit when I'm talking like blood was just not pouring, but I mean constantly coming out of my gums. And there's some other like little things around there that eventually stopped. But one of the main things that started happening was I was feeling dizzy. Like, I hate to use this as an example, but some of you may know, some of you may not know. Whenever you go out and you drink too much and you come home and you sit down and you're kind of like, whoa, and the room starts spinning? I would have that all day, every day. And like when I would lay down, oh man, it got a lot worse. It got horrible. Well, I would also, like if I was looking at you talking and then somebody over here would be like, hey, Alana, and I'd turn my head to see who it was, I could hear and feel liquid in my head move. So, okay, so fast forward, I go to the doctor. I'm like, hey, I think there's fluid in my ear. I can feel it and hear it. Well, of course, when you go to the doctor for something like that, they have a whole process that you have to go to. You can't just simply go straight to an ENT. You have to have all this other stuff. Well, he said, okay, so we're going to start with, I think it might be vertigo. So he had me go to therapy and tried all that stuff, and no, it didn't work. Which I did learn that when you have vertigo, or like what I was having, if you lay there and you just look up, your eyes will go. My eyes did that, like they constantly move, and I was like, that is so crazy. But anyway, and I went a couple of times, and I told him, I was like, it is not it's not helping at all. It's not doing a thing. So finally, he's like, okay, so I think you may be right. It's probably your ear, but you can't get into a ENT which is an ear, nose, and throat specialist. You can't get into an ENT without a MRI, because they want some sort of an imaging on your head to make sure it's not like a tumor or, anything like that. So I had the MRI, which if you've never had an MRI, oh my gosh, like this is going to sound so dumb, but this is the type of person, outside of YouTube, this is the type of person I am. I am very, I like to say I'm tough, but when it comes down to things that scare me, I am terrified. And one of them is an MRI machine. And I laid there and I started shaking, and I kind of had tears coming down my face because I was laying on my back, so they were like coming down my face. And he comes up to me, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Will you hold my hand?" I know. Because he told me, he was like, "You have to get this done or you can't, go on." And I was like, "Will you please just hold my hand?" So he held my hand and, well, let me rephrase that. He got me inside, and then he came and held my hand until I could calm myself down. And he's like, "All right, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay now." And he went and did the whole process, which I think it took like 15, 20 minutes. And I laid there and sang a song to myself and got that done. Came out clear. Perfect. Finally, I could get to the ENT. I get to the ENT, and I am not kidding you. This is what he says to me whenever I tell him all of the symptoms I was having. I was having, the vertigo-ish feeling. I would lose feeling in my fingertips. My ear was dry, my ear felt like it was just fat and swollen and throbbing. And I said I smell occasionally I just get this weird smell. And there was a couple other things I listed off. And I go in there and I sit down and I start telling him this. And he said, he took a tube and he put it up my nostril and looked down into my sinus cavity, or, that area on the inside. And he pulled it out and he's like, "Yeah, it's pretty full of fluid. It's swollen. That's why you're having all of these symptoms, yada, yada." And he said, "I have to tell you, when you were first telling me your symptoms, I was thinking it was cancer." And my husband and I are sitting there like, "What? Why would you say that?" That's not necessary to say. Anyway, so simple fix-ish. He put me on Singular. Monteclass is the generic name. Anywho, so I was on that for a couple months, and it took the edge off. It took away the vertigo. It took away the loss of feeling in my fingertips. I didn't get the migraines. I think that was the main things it took away. But my ear still filled full. My ear still throbbed. All kinds of different things. But anyway, so one day I went to an appointment, because you have an appointment once every 3 months. And one day I went to an appointment, and I said, his name was Dr. Wynn. I said, "Dr. Wynn, it's not working. I still feel and hear the fluid in my ears." He's like, "Yeah, let's put a tube in your ear." And I was like, "Now?" What? So, of course, that was the one appointment my husband didn't go to. So when I got home after that, I told him, I was like, "Ooh, I am mad at you right now." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because he put a tube in my ear and you weren't there." Anyway, so he puts a tube in my ear and it's like an instant kind of relief. And then everything was good for a while, quite a while. And I quit taking the Singular. Well, I still would go to those appointments every 3 months. So fast forward a year, I get a phone call that Dr. Wynn just up and quit. One of the nurses was like, "We don't know why. He just walked out and quit." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not having any issues, but I still want to stay with my provider, or stay in there, as a patient." So they get a new provider in and they schedule me a new appointment. Well, I had to reschedule because we were in Wisconsin visiting, my daughter at school. Well, then, that appointment comes up, and then they call me and reschedule because he had a sick family member, something like that. And then reschedule it. So, of course, these appointments are getting farther and farther and farther out, months away. And so in between those last two appointments, that's, that last appointment, I was like, hey, can we just reschedule again? Because I'm fine, everything's good, and I'll go whenever the next one comes up. Well, insert here these migraines again, the vision issues, which is new. Occasionally I'll get that weird smell. I'm getting the loss of feeling in my fingertips. One of them that's the vision issue. I think the vision issue is what's causing the migraines. I don't think it's my ear causing the migraines. So what's happening is, the best way to, here's how I can explain it. So let's say you're outside and you glance at the sun and you look away and you're like, oh man, that was bright. That's all I can see in my vision. Imagine that, but with everything I look at. So, for instance, like right now, I have a ring light. So I'm going to point where it's at. So it's here, but it's like that far above my camera. So it's not in my line of vision, but it's above it. And then over here on the ceiling, like way up there, is a ceiling light. That ceiling light hole is just like burning a hole into my eyes, and my eyeballs physically, like the little balls, hurt. So when I'm looking at you now, but when I look away, all I can see is the light from the ceiling light and the light coming from the screen on my phone that I film with. It's everything I look at. I look at the TV and I look away. That's all I can see is the brightness from the TV. And so on top of that, it's like it's double vision. And it's horrible. So I try to keep the house dark, which is awful because it's spring and it's warm and the birds are chirping and the sun's shining, and I love that. To me, that is like a mental boost, is just to have sunshine and lights and the windows open. But anyway, so I try to keep it dark. Well, the other day, here's a great example. I was crocheting, which, knock on wood, I can do. I was crocheting in the dark, not complete dark, but watching TV, and I got up and I went downstairs, and when I came down the stairs, I glanced and looked out the window, and it was so bright and sunny. Bam, I instantly got a migraine with it's called aura, like the visual, I call it an undulating ball of white noise. Like back in the day, those tube TVs that would have that white noise, and it's just white, snowy looking stuff. That's what it is. It starts with like a little bitty ball of white noise, and it like undulates, it like moves and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I told my husband, I said, I can put my hand right in front of my face and I cannot see it, because that aura, or the orb, whatever you want to call it. And then it comes the headache. And anyway, that is the worst. I have tried everything. So, having said all that, to say 13 minutes to explain that's what I'm dealing with. Well, that, and then, like, I don't want to say mental health, because it's not like I've been depressed or upset. I've just been upset, and I'm sick of feeling this all the time. And so my mood has just always been going, I'm just not in the mood for anything. I'm upset because this, and I get a migraine and I start bawling, and then I'm sad because of that, and it's just, So finally I get into my doctor, and I tell her what's going on, and I said, I honestly, truly, I'm telling you guys, it's my ear. It is my ear. I know it is. And she looked at my ear, and she's like, well, it looks fine. I'm not seeing anything. And I thought to myself, that's exactly what the doctor said the last time I said it was my ear, was that they're not seeing anything. And I'm like, I know you're not seeing anything, but I'm telling you it's my ear. Anyway, so she gave me a medication for migraines, which, holy cow, that is, You take one of those and bam, it stops it instantly. I still feel like, I call it mush brain. I get mush brain after I have a migraine. I still have that, a tinge of the pain, not too bad. I mean, I can handle it, or take some naproxen or ibuprofen. But man, it stops that, the aura in your vision, it stops that instantly. She gave me that and then ordered a CT and labs. Well, for those of you that know, and for those of you that don't know, I quit my job, and I no longer have the great insurance that I had. So the insurance we do have has an outrageous out of pocket, and it's like, great. So, I'm trying to save this money up to pay for a CT and labs, and I didn't do it, and this is when you start seeing me slack on the videos. That's when in this time frame that I'm talking about is when I stopped doing the videos, because my mental, I don't want to say mental health, but I'm just upset and sad and don't feel good and just aggravated, and it's just one thing on top of another. So, and it's not just health when I say one thing on top of another. There's more. Holy cow, there's more. But anyway, so finally I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if I go into debt or I have debt for a little bit. What are they going to do? Arrest me? I don't give a crap. So I get the CT and I get the labs done. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to the eye doctor. And I went to the eye doctor actually the other day, and he did every single test he could. He checked everything. He looked at everything. And he's like, honestly, your vision's great. He said the only thing I could do is maybe make your up close glasses a little stronger. He goes, but honestly, to save you money, this is exactly what I'm going to do. He said the bifocal that I would give you is the exact same thing that you would get from Walmart, Dollar General, the plus one readers. He goes, go get you a pair of those, and honestly, if you wanted to, you could stop wearing your glasses that you always wear. And I was like, so everything is fine? He's like, yeah, your eyeballs are fine. He said, this about made me cry, because this is the first time that a doctor, since all of this has started, validated, maybe is the word I'm looking for, what I've been saying. And he goes, I think you're on the right track with your ear. I think that's the issue. Everything else is clear. Because when I told him I had the CT and the labs and everything was fine, he was like, great, because that was going to be the next thing I recommend, is that you get a CT. And he told me, he was like, yeah, I think you are on the right track with your ear. And those were the specific words he used, on the right track. And I'm like, so I call and try to get in with my ENT, the ear, nose, and throat specialist. Well, they can't get me in until June. And I'm like, come on. So I'm like, I thought to myself, I need another referral to a different ENT. So I call my doctor and I talk to her nurse, and I tell her nurse the whole story, what's going on. She says, okay, let me see what the last appointment you had for the migraines. Let me see what she put in the chart. Well, she didn't document any of the issues I was saying about my ear. She just documented that I checked the ear. I can see where the tube fell out, and that was all she documented. She didn't document that I was complaining about the ear. She just documented that I was complaining about the migraine, which, I mean, is kind of right. I just wish she would have put more in there that I was saying that was my ear, which her leaving that out left that I had to have another doctor's appointment to get a referral. Thank the good Lord above, she was like, can you just do a telemed appointment? She told me, she said, I can have her call you at 5:30 tonight. And I was like, perfect, let's do that. So she calls, I have my appointment, and she said, give me a week, and if you have not heard from any if you haven't heard from any specialist with an appointment, call me back. She goes, give me a week and I will have you an appointment. And I told her, I said, I am willing to travel 2 hours from my house to get to an appointment before April. Okay, so that's the whole medical story. That's where we are now. My head is good. There's nothing in there to worry about. My blood is good. There's nothing in there to worry about. My eyeballs are good. There's nothing in there to worry about. Ear. Anyway, so now let me tell you all the other stuff that's been going on. Thank you for listening to me go through that whole spiel. So let me explain why April. My husband has a cousin. It's his dad's brother's son. So first cousin, right? That lives in Texas. He sold part of a ranch. He sold something, and he bought a house in Maui. And he's got it all set up, and it's nice and blah, blah, blah. Well, my husband and him talk all the time. And this cousin told my husband, he's like, why don't you and the wife and the kids come and spend a week in Maui? All you have to do is just pay for the flights, and I'll cover the rest. You'll have a vehicle, you have somewhere to stay for free, a vehicle for free, food for free. You just stay here with us for a week and visit. And my husband said, well, let me think about it. Let me talk to my wife and see where the finances are and this and that. Well, I am not a beach person. To me, one of my worst nightmares in the world is to be in a bathing suit in public. Not a pretty sight to me. And I am not. I would rather be in a snowy cabin in the winter wonderland by a fire, snuggling on my husband, or watching TV, or crocheting, or snowmobiling, walking in the woods. That is me. I am not a beach person. I am not a tropical person. So my husband brings it up to me, and we're talking about it. And a part of me is instantly like, honey, we don't have the money. One, we don't have the time. Two, for other reasons I'll explain. But okay, just let me think about it. And I got to thinking, and I'm thinking, and I'll go through the pros and cons. And the one pro that I keep coming back to, pros that I keep coming back to, is one, very soon, it's going to be to where my husband and I are empty nesters, and it's going to be very hard for us to get both of our girls together with both of their schedules, my schedule, my husband's schedule, and be able to take family vacations anymore. And I was like, this is probably going to be the last one that we could ever take for a while, because, one's going to be in school, and the other one's going to be in school and work. And so I was like, okay. And then I thought, the other pro is that I could be able to say that I've been to Hawaii, I've been to Maui, I've seen it, this and that. So then my husband, he starts sending me things he's finding online, and he sent me something that just instantly I was like, oh my gosh, okay. He sent me a video that he found online that shows a black sand beach, and I was just like, that is the coolest thing. I want to see it. So I was like, all right, what's the price range we're looking at? Like, how much are we thinking? So he gets online and he finds these super cheap tickets, air tickets with no check bags. That's the kicker, is we cannot check a single bag. We can have a carry-on bag, but not a single check bag. And there and back, he got it for like $1,500. Super, super cheap. And I told my husband, I was like, well, if we cut this, back off on some spending, this and that, I bet we could do it. And he's like, I've already done the calculations, and I think we can. So we called up the cousin, and we're like, we're going to do it. So then the next thing was the time frame. When can we go? Well, Emma's school, Jalen's school, all this graduation and prom and this and that. The best time we can go is April 22nd to, I don't remember what day we're coming back. I forgot. Anyway, so we that's the time frame we got. We got it booked, and I'm going to Hawaii. That was a smidge of excitement and then like dread that I'm gonna be in a bathing suit. Anyway, so there's that. And then this, for those of you that watched my last video or whatever video it was, and I mentioned that my mother-in-law, we were moving her to an assisted living facility. We got her moved in. Everything was great. She kept telling us she loved it, and we were believing her. And we get a phone call one day that she fell and bumped her head. And they took her to the emergency room. She ended up testing positive for COVID. She ended up testing positive for a UTI. And she was super weak, which, if you guys know, like, when the elderly get UTIs, my gosh, they get an altered mental state. My camera just did something really weird, and I don't know what that was. I hope I'm still here. Sorry, I don't know what that was. But anyway, their altered mental status, and then just they're weird. And that's what was happening. And basically, she couldn't be alone. And the administration of this assisted living facility told my husband and my sister-in-law, hey, she can't stay here if she's like this. You know, this isn't a nursing home. And then my husband's devastated because he's like, what are we going to do? And I kept telling him, I'm like, honey, she has a UTI. I'm telling you, these UTIs mess the elderly up big time. You know, just let's get that fixed and go from there. Don't jump to the worst case scenario just yet. Just hold on a minute. Let's stay in this area first. And thankfully, nothing was broke. Nothing was fractured, anything like that. She was a little sore. We always say, because she's fallen a few times, and we always tell her, like, you are the most graceful person the way you fall. You fall gracefully. So thank the Lord for that. But having said that, my husband gets into this. I'm trying to put this as delicately as I can. I don't want to speak ill of my husband. I mean, men are men. Everybody, husband and wives fight, spouses fight. Everybody fights. Well, some say that you take it out on the ones you love. I don't. I do not do that. If I'm upset about something, I go to that person, or I go to my husband and I just smash my face in his chest and cry, or you know, hang on him. Like, I go to him for comfort. He's opposite. He takes it out on the ones you love, and it was taking it out on me. And it was just like, we were just fighting, and it was just me saying, what the hell? You know, I'm not the enemy. Hello. Like, why are you treating me like that? And then it was just, so it's the nursing home, us, you know, just being at each other, me being down because I can't fix my head. And then it got to where he would go every day, like 40 miles one way to be with his mom. And I'm trying to tell him, honey, I don't want to, because when I leave the house, the sun is so bright, it's just an instant migraine, and I don't want to have another migraine. So then we get in a fight about that, and he's like, well, fine, I'll just start going everywhere by myself. And I'm like, yes, that's how to fix this. That's great. Great job. So then it's relationship fighting, and it's just, on top of that, we find out that my daughter's college, that's in northern Wisconsin, almost her first year in the books, is permanently closing the doors. Oh my gosh. It's just, so I go into fix it mode, and she calls me and she's like, I don't know what to do. I blah, blah, blah. And I was like, first of all, get off the phone with me, sit down, and have it out with yourself. Cry, punch a pillow, do something. Have it out with yourself. Call me back and let's talk it out. So I'm telling her, I'm like, first things first, find a school that you want to go to. And I mean, she lost scholarships. She didn't have a full ride scholarship there, but it was damn near a full ride scholarship. Everything gone. So I'm feeling absolutely horrible for her because of how devastated she is, because her heart was set on going on to this school. Anyway, so we're in the middle of getting that sorted out. Excuse me. I need a drink. We're in the middle of getting that sorted out. Thankfully, that's leading in the right direction. So that's that's a little bit of a sum up what's been happening lately. On a, to update Nana, you know how some people call their mother-in-law's mom, like my sister-in-laws that aren't my mother-in-law's daughters call her mom. I've always called her Nana. She's always Nana to me, and I think that comes down to my husband was a late baby. I think my mother-in-law was like 40 when she had my husband, somewhere around in there. So she is right now 86. Yes, 86. But I've always called her Nana. So the reason I say that is because I called her Nana. Anyway, Nana is doing great. She is so much more mobile than she was, and some of it, yes, it was, once she got over the COVID, once she got over the UTI, some of it was that the physical therapist, nurse, administration at the assisted living facility said sometimes you got to give them a little tough love, and one of them told her, hey, you can do this on your own. Get up and do it. Come on, you can do this. And she popped right up and started walking around, and I was just like, are you kidding? But Nana's doing great. So thank the Lord for that, and the outlook is that she can stay at the assisted living facility for a little longer. We did have to buy her a new bed, but other than that, things are looking great. So amen to that. Let me take a look at my notes to see what else, if there's anything else that I wanted to explain to you guys. Oh, yeah, there's another one I forgot. Let me kind of, I have a hair on my chopstick. Let me kind of explain this. So, my husband is a farmer. He was born and raised on a farm. Crop farm, not livestock. And so we have the farm, and that's where my mother and father-in-law lived. My father-in-law passed away 5 years ago. No, that's not right. 3 years ago, I think. And so then my mother-in-law lived there, and then now that we moved her to the assisted living facility, the house is sitting empty, and the farm's still there. And then my husband and I live in town, down the road from the farm. Well, my husband has been saying that he wants us to start talking about selling the stuff at the farm, so Nana's stuff at the farm, that let me pause that story and say this, that I have already told my husband, anything that has to do with that farm, I will not be a part of. My name will not be on. I don't want any part of it. I don't want any money from it. I don't want anything. And the reason I say that is because when my dad's mom passed away, I saw the way my stepmom was treated and the way my dad was treated with it wasn't estate, it wasn't anything like that, but it was like my grandma's properties, my grandma's house, her stuff and everything that got sold. And I saw how it changed people, and I told my husband, I will not be a part of it. I will not. I don't even know if I want to say that I will be there to help lift and carry stuff like that. I can't even say I want to be there for that, because I don't. I do not want to be associated with it at all, because if anyone ever would say, sorry, that I had ill intentions to anything like that, I would not be nice, and I would not be a happy camper. Let's just say that. Because I knew my mother-in-law years before I knew my husband. She was the secretary at our high school, and she retired my junior year. And I loved her. I would be in the office every day just to talk to her. I didn't even know she had kids. I know I said we'd talk every day, but I didn't. We talked about each other. We never talked about our lives or anything. But I would be in there every day to talk to her, just tell her hi or give her a hug or something like that. So, yeah, that's why I'm so adamant that I will not have a single part to do with any of it. So I told him that, but what his plan is that us be there to keep watch and protect the farm, meaning the equipment, because it happens around here. People will break into farms and steal just stuff out of sheds and barns, and people will pull up with a truck and trailer and just quick as that jump into a tractor, load it up on the trailer, and be gone, and nobody knows. So it's like he told me, he said, I want to be there to protect the farm, and then protect the house from people breaking into the house and stealing stuff, and then the house going to crap, essentially. But so he tells me that, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot to take in, because there's just so much involved with it and I understand. Anyway, well, let me finish. I'm sorry, I'm not finishing this reason I'm saying this. So then us moving out there, selling our house here, and then selling a lot of stuff that we don't want or need anymore here, and then taking all of the money that we get from selling our house and our stuff here, using that money to build a new house in northern Wisconsin, the property that we have up there, which I think is a great idea for that, because as things are getting a little harder, not harder, I don't want to say harder, we are not hard up for money at all. We have savings, we have investments. We just don't touch that, because that's for important stuff. Just things are getting tighter, I'll say, with normal expenses and things like that, if that makes sense. Like, we are not hard up for money at all. Like, I was born and raised in a low income house. There were 5 of us girls and 2 parents. I told my husband, I said, you think times are hard now. I said, you ought to be, my bedroom was a front porch that had no air or heat. My twin sister and I, we shared a bedroom. And that front porch that was our bedroom, my dad blocked off the front door and all of that. It would literally get so cold, our perfume would freeze, our lotion would freeze. Yes, lotion freezes, let me tell you. But we survived, you know, we snuggled with each other and kept warm, and, you know, I never remember being hot or cold. Never. I remember being comfortable, you know, and it's like, because that's not what was important. It was us together that was important. It wasn't us freezing. That wasn't, we slept in there when it was freezing, you know, we just snuggled under the blankets and had fun. And so I told my husband, it's like, you think struggling is one thing when I know struggling is a completely different thing. So we're fine, honey. Anyway, so we got that on top of everything. And it's just, I feel like every dang year something is happening. Like, I told my friend, I was telling him about it, and he's like, it's always something with you. And I'm like, right? Like, what in the crap? And I know he never meant that to sound bad or anything like that, but he's right. It's like, it's always something. Always something. But, and I'm telling you guys all of this is because I don't want to leave you guys just hanging. I hate doing that. I hate it because I know, so, you know, not all of you, granted, but some of you, like, look forward to me putting out a video, and just, you know, the things you guys say in the comments make my day. And the things, you know, when you guys tell me, like, I have a specific one I'm thinking of, like, every time I post on Facebook in the group that I posted a video, she tells me, you make my day. Just watching your video makes my day. And that makes my day, because it's like, I'm one person. If it's just her, if it's only ever that one person that I hear from for the rest of my YouTube life, I've accomplished something, right? I've made that person's day better. And it, you know, and I'm sure there's more, but, you know, she tells me that, and I'm like, thank you. But, and I understand that, you know, some people think that you can just jump in front of the camera and real quick, just boom, 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 you know, say what's going on and be like, okay, bye. And it's not like that. You have to be in a good headspace to get in front of the camera to talk. Like, I don't, this is gonna sound way worse than I intended to. I'm not good with words and how to convey my feelings, but this is, I'm gonna say it like this. I don't like watching people's YouTube that all it is them telling me, them talking about how bad this is, how bad this is, how bad this is, how bad this is. I don't like watching that because I am a firm believer that misery loves company. So when, you know, you hear someone start talking about that and that's all you do is watch their videos and listen to someone just negative, you can feel yourself start to get negative. And I can't stand that. I've unsubscribed to a few channels because, like, I can't handle to listen to the constant negativity. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So if I'm not my perky, smiley self like I am today, like, today's a great day. I feel good. My eyes are a little on the rough side today, but I can work past that. I'm upbeat today. I'm honestly, my plan is once I get off here, I'm going to go start cleaning the house. I haven't cleaned in a couple days, and it's like, ugh. I need to clean my house. Anyway, so being in a good headspace is hard to do. And then on top of that is time. Because as funny as it sounds, and I know this is going to sound silly, I don't like filming in front of my husband or when my husband's here or he can hear me. I don't like it. He's not judging me, but I feel judged. And I feel like when I get done filming, he'll be like, why were you talking about that? Why were you saying that? You sounded so silly talking about that. And I'm like, just stop. I don't want to hear it. Leave me alone. And so to prevent that, I prefer him not being here when I film. And I feel the same way with tutorials. Like, so when I said that, what I meant was me in front of the camera videos. But I feel the same way, and I'm working on it with tutorials. I'm working on getting better. It's almost like I feel like I stumble over my words, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh, hi, you stumbled over your words, blah blah blah," which he would never mean it maliciously. He's just a doofus. He is. I love him to death. He's a doofus. Anyway, he'll just do it to screw with me, to pester me or get a laugh out of me. And sometimes it's like, I need you to not do that, because it gets in here, which causes me to mess up, which causes me to not want to do a video, which causes me to lose subscribers, because if you don't put out a video, people are like, nah, I'm done, which, if I just say, okay, you kind of weren't a person or a friend that I would want anyway. Because to me, it's like, if I'm that easy for you to unsubscribe to, it's your loss, because I'm great. What I'm trying to say is that like, if it's that easy for you to unsubscribe from me, then okay. Anyway, but I'm working on that. I'm saying all of this, I'm rambling, I know. I'm saying all this to say that it's not as easy as it looks, or some might think, to just get in front of the camera and do a video. It's really not. It's not. It's fun. I love doing it, and I don't want to change doing it. It's just, sometimes when life is just like, I'm going to hand you with this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and all of it's going to bring you down, but you still need to do YouTube, because that's my only income right now. It gets hard. It gets hard. But I am happy to say that I have recently got my Crojo back, and I have been working on 2 quick little tutorials, something that I can get done quick, film and make it quick, to get myself ahead so I can get a bigger project finished and have a big tutorial. I've been working on 2 washcloths, washcloths, whatever. They're cute, it's just something quick and easy to get up. And then I'm getting this close to being done with my, do you guys remember the baby blanket that I showed you, or Afghan, whichever? That's, it's solid double crochet, but it's got 3 squares of a pattern, and then a solid chunk of double, then 3 squares of pattern, then a solid chunk of double, then 3 squares of pattern, and then solid chunk of double crochets is what I mean, to finish it off. I'm this close to being done with the last chunk of solid, probably 4 more rows, and then a border, and then I want to make a matching pillow, and then I want to make a matching baby set with it. So maybe just a little jacket or a little sweater, just something that matches. So that's the big project that's going to come after these 2 little ones. And then I may insert, 1 or 2 things in there. So I've got that. Let me see. So basically, with everything going on, I just needed a reset. I needed to do a factory reset. So, instead of me forcing tutorials or forcing a video, just being like, I need to take a week or 2. Let's do a factory reset. And everything is coming out good on the other end. My husband and I are good. We're not fighting. We're not, I'm going to say this is what we call it in my house. When we don't say we're fighting, we say we're just pissy with each other. Like, you're aggravating me. We just say pissy. Which I know some of you don't like it. The cussing is just, that's what we say in my house. Just, we're pissy with each other. But we're good now. We actually went to a fundraiser the other night, and there was a band, a great band, and they played a handful of slow songs, and my husband and I danced to a slow song together, which 15 years Never have we danced. Never. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. There is one time I won't talk about. Because, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that one. But we slow danced the other day for the first time. So that should tell you how things we're great. We're back to being great. We just had that little spell. And then now Nana's doing great. So amen to that. And if you could, cross your fingers, knock on wood, ask the big man above, please let everything go good with Emma. She gets into this college she wants, which is, it's in northern Michigan. I think that's the one. She talked about a couple different colleges. She applied to a handful, which I did not know that you have to pay to apply to some universities or bigger colleges. And it was like, what? Okay. But anyway, so she applied to a couple. And so fingers crossed, knock on wood, Lordy help us, that she gets into a good one. She gets into one she wants. And, credits transfer. And let's go from there. And then one last one is that I get a ENT referral, and I go to them and they look in my ear, or they look, through my sinus again at that eustachian tube from my ear to your sinus or whatever it connects to. And they're like, oh yeah, you got a little something going on there. Here, take this, you're fixed. Let's hope that all happens before we go to Maui. I think I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer about going to Hawaii, but I really think I am the only person in the world that would probably be like, nah, I'd be okay if we didn't go. I still want to say I've been there and that I've seen it and that I've experienced it. I'll have fun. We'll have a blast. And I always tell myself, when it comes to my body and the way I look, or, anything like that, I always tell myself, you're never going to be the worst looking one. There's always going to be someone there that looks worse than you do. Because I don't have the body of a supermodel, and I've never had. I'm not in the best shape I've ever been, but I'm in better shape than I was, and my body shows it, if that makes sense. Like, I've got stretch marks in some places, some saggy skin in some other places, some saggy body parts. Bathing suits aren't the best to try to make those saggy body parts look better. So there you go. So having said that, I've rambled on for an hour, and I have covered a lot of things that I want to talk about. I do have some upcoming things that I'm excited to show you. I'm not 100% sure when I can get that out with everything going on, and with projects that I'm currently trying to finish and work on. But I will say, I love each and every one of you. You are the greatest. If it was not for you, I would not be here. I would not show you what I can do. I would not teach you what I can do. I would not be teaching you upcoming things. Hint, hint. And I would not have met some of the best people that I have met on here if it was not for all of you. So, having said that, I'm sorry. Thank you for accepting that I took a little bit of a break. And if I could hug each and every one of you, I would. And I don't care if some of you don't like it. I'm going to hug you anyway. I don't care. I'm going to kill you with kindness. How's that? I'm going to just give you a big old hug. But, all right. I'm going to stop being sappy. I am back, and I am sorry. Thank each and every one of you. The next video is going to be a tutorial on Wednesday, and then Friday I'm going to get back into the Finish It Friday. So come back for that. I miss doing those. This is my favorite. I love doing those. Anyway, all right. I will see you guys in the next one. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys thought. And, just talk to me. Talk to me in the comments. I always read them. I may not always respond, but I read every one of them. I get a notification from each of them. And, yeah, I love you guys. Bye.